our flight. Whiskey round table. Oh, Greg, Karen, and the whiskey wizard talking facts and tastings. They've got you covered. Whiskey round table. Oh.
Welcome to the Whiskey Roundtable. We are your hosts,
Big G,
Karen Helen Keller.
Doug Dunbar.
Jimmy Falb.
I almost forgot for a second. Who am I? All right. Well, we got Jimmy here tonight, and good to have you, Jimmy.
What's up, Jimmy? Good to be here, man. What's up, Jimmy Chips? Good to be here.
You know, we're doing this because of you tonight.
Well, because it's the Scotch Whiskey Month, and
we know
I thought we were doing this because Steve wasn't going to make it.
Oh,
what's up, Galileo?
Oh, and it begins.
Oh, shit, Negro.
We are doing a very good Scotch tonight.
And it is a very good Scotch tonight.
Well, I mean, that is what we're here to find out.
Scotch month,
Right.
man.
Right.
Scotch month.
Because, well, I mean, we can't totally feign ignorance. I don't think I've ever had this. I know you have and you like it, and gee, you have a bottle, I know. So, but it's I'm looking forward to it because
Sure.
it's an unpeated Isla. You know, that's
Which is not normal.
right. Yeah, it's Isla's known for its heavy peat and whiskeys, and this is unpeated. So, I'm kind of intrigued. We'll see.
So, can I tell you what happened to me today?
Yes, and I want to hear about what Karen did too. So.
Well, that's the same thing I was going to buy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Don't rush me.
Oh, all right.
So I get a call from the sheriff's office. So I'm retired from the sheriff's office 1 year and 8 months. And I get a call from Tammy. Okay? So, I answer the phone. I'm like, it's Shard phone number. It's a phone number that I know.
Did the phone call go?
So I answer the phone, and she's like, hey, Greg, what's going on? I said, hey, what's going on? She says, we have a problem. I said, what's the problem? She's all like, we've had multiple phone calls and hang-ups from your house, and we set a cruiser over there for a welfare check. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I turn around, I call my wife, and the phone answers, and it's all... I hang up the phone. I had already put Tammy on because I could go from phone to phone. And I go back and I said, my wife is butt dialing, blah, blah, blah. She's like, where are you at? I said, well, I'm on my way back to the office. And my wife is, I gave her the whole thing about our doggy birthday and all this stuff. And I said, she's got her phone in her pocket, da-da-da-da-da. So I said, hang tight. She goes, just call me back. You got my number. I said, absolutely. So I call my wife, and I get... I hang up the phone. I call her back. A few minutes later, she answers the phone, and I said, just so you know, Bainbridge Police Department is at our house for a welfare check. She's like, what? I'm like, I said, where's your phone? Well, it's in my back pocket. I'm like, oh, well, maybe you should pull that phone out of your back pocket. And because this is what's going on. So now my wife is all embarrassed.
You mean because it makes like an emergency call?
Well,
signal?
yeah, after so many calls.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Here's the background of what happened. So school started. This is way more information than TMI, but
all right,
school
this is
started.
good. This is good information.
School started around here this week.
Yeah.
Yes. Monday.
And before work, Greg and I sit on the front porch and we drink our coffee, we let the dogs out, and we just kind of, get ready for our day. So 3 cars blew through the stop sign.
As they do.
Don't stop. 2 went, they turned left, and like one right after the other.
South.
Tires screeching, the whole 9 yards. So I'm like, oh no, these kids, they were probably late to school or they're just screwing around because school's back in. But I called Bainbridge, non-emergency line.
But stop. It's a continual problem, especially in the evening. Go ahead.
So I call the Bainbridge Police Department, non-emergency line.
So that's why they were on your.
That's why they were on my
dial,
phone.
yeah.
And I just said, hey, not an emergency. Can you guys just keep an eye on the stop sign? Well, so they came out.
Immediately.
They
immediately.
were quick.
Yeah.
They were very quick. They
were
came
there.
out. They sat kind of like in front of her.
Battaglias, I mean.
They did. I didn't want to say that.
They sat kind of like on the other side of our driveway, and they were just watching
But
the
it only
intersection.
took seconds.
Like less than a minute. No kidding.
Wow.
They had their first one.
That poor guy sitting in that cruiser, he must have thought, well, this isn't going to take any time. I'm just going to relax and drink my coffee. And he no sooner put the car in park, he was on his way. And this happens like multiple times. As he parks, he's on his way. And Karen's like, you think we should take him some coffee? I go, no, he's all good.
We didn't have time to take him coffee. Every time he came back, he was gone again. It was that fast. So this
People
morning,
blowing the stop sign.
So
like not even stopping,
going
not
after
even slowing
people.
down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's, out here it's 45 miles an hour, and it's,
It's one thing to be 45, but just to fucking roll through the stop sign, that's a whole different story.
it's just crazy. And
Anyway, a shout out to Bainbridge PD. Great
Okay,
guys.
yeah.
You guys handled your business, and I just will tell that. I will just tell you
Sorry, I'm a
now
little slow tonight.
that today we sat out there drinking our coffee, and everybody stopped at the stop sign.
So I just, Pat Patterson is here with us today.
What's up, Pat?
All right, Pat, and we got Rob Hayes from
Rob.
Up North. Is
Rob
Rob
up
up north, or is he in town? No, I guess
No,
he would probably be here. If he
We'll
was
see
in
him
town.
Labor Day at some point.
Yeah.
we got a whole cast
Of course,
of
we got
characters.
Jen, and which is fantastic, and
Steve Gallowan.
Steve Gallowan, of course.
Steve Gallowan, my man. I love Steve. I love him. I love him. Me and him have a lot in common. I don't see him a lot, but I miss that guy.
But, I'm still glad that we have Jimmy here tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, Steve, Jimmy is number one.
Oh my goodness. We got brother Steve Williams
Steven
from Texas.
Williams.
Steve!
What's up, Negro? What's going on,
Good
dog?
to
That's
have
my
you
brother.
on here,
That's
yes.
my brother. That's my brother.
Nick T.
Nicholas
Nicholas T. What's up?
saying hi to Jen, and Jen saying hi to everybody else.
All right.
Yeah, it's nice.
Jennifer, what are you drinking? What's up?
She's asking everybody what they're drinking. Rob Richter is having some Jane Walker and an Oliva cigar.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'm drinking. I had a bad day at the office today, and I have my own bar at the office. But
What's left of that, Greg?
I started this at about 3:30 today, and that's all I got left.
What is that? What is that?
Sazerac Rye.
Okay.
But, if you're going to do it, Greg, that's a good choice.
I'll tell you what, I got a whole weekend. I don't even want to think about it. But anyway.
But we're not going to think about it now. We're just going to have
Let's
fun.
get frosty.
We're going to get frosty, and we're going to have fun. Okay, so, we have a really good whiskey tonight. And before that, we'll just a little bit of pregame. I'm pregaming with some Dalmore 12. Jimmy was
Dalmore
kind enough
12.
to bring some Deanston's Virgin Oak. Yes, which I
Oh,
really
what do you know
like.
about
I like all Deanston.
I don't know.
I love all the Deanston.
I am one, but
Oh!
Deanston just puts a lot of care in what they do. Not that they all don't, but I really enjoyed all
he
their
actually switched over to mine. Now he's
All right, kids. Let's get into this.
Yeah,
Let's do
okay. Well, Greg, we know you got the Sazerac. Are you having any scotch tonight with us? Or?
I'm going to have some scotch, but I started off with a brand new bottle of Sazerac Rye. I got a call from Chagrin Valley Beverage, and they said, hey, just wanted you to know that we got a case of 6 bottles of Sazerac Rye. And I said, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. You have a case of 5 bottles of Sazerac Rye? And they said, well, okay. I said, I'll be right there. And I had to go because I went to 2 liquor stores today for this bottle.
Oh, right.
I was lazy this week, and I was able to find that, and I got my Must has a rack rye. So
Fantastic.
At the end of the day, so
Yeah. Very good. And what are we smoking tonight, Big G?
I'm smoking a LFD, a La Flor Dominicana. Great cigar, double Hedgetto. It's a good cigar. Karen, we sat on the porch this morning. It was 5:30, 6 o'clock, and this is exactly what I was smoking.
Nice.
It's
Jimmy, what do you got
I
tonight?
have a Vegas de Jalapa.
Okay.
Connecticut. Only can get them at Royal Havana Cigar Shop.
Amen.
All right.
Royal
One of our
Havana.
great sponsors, Royal Havana
So,
Cigar.
so I'm just going to throw this out. I know that once we get back, once Dave gets back from Canada, from a good friend of ours who's doing a birthday party out there, Dave is going to be on the show.
Oh,
Nice.
He's going to be on the show, and
Never
we're
had
going to
that.
talk about cigars and bourbons, if you will, or tequilas, whatever he
Pairings.
wants to do. Pairings, exactly right. So
Um,
that's going to be a great show.
Cuban rums.
So we haven't had this chat, Wizard. We haven't had this chat, but I'm debating if we're going to do it on the show or if we're going to do a series for the Whiskey Wizard.
Oh,
Does that make
nice.
sense to you?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that.
All right, so we'll talk later.
Yeah. Sounds great. That sounds great. Yeah.
But tonight we are back on our Scotch whiskey.
Yeah, because it is still single malt month for
Amen.
this episode or this show and
whole-
one more. So.
One more after
Yeah.
this. So should we take a ride on the bottle cam so everyone can get a glimpse of what we're doing?
Yeah, sure. We'll be right back after this.
Now hurry up because I'm fucked up.
Hey everyone, it's time for the bottle cam. The bottle cam.
Oops, sorry, I'm a little slow today on the coming back from the bottle cam there. So, Wiz, before we get started with the show, any words of wisdom tonight?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's 3 types of people.
Okay, go on.
Those who can count and those who can't.
Put it
Oh
on.
my
All right.
Wah,
goodness.
wah, wah.
All right.
And Jimmy, what about you? What's
Yeah,
what's
Jimmy,
been
what's
going on
going
at
on?
your house?
I just
So you
been.
get a bunch of stuff going on at your place. That's right.
I've
Okay.
had a lot of trees that have needed to be taken down in my backyard and the
Did
forest
Western
behind me.
Reserve
And
have that or something?
Greg Battaglia's good friend, my good friend, Rick Smigelski, who also happens to be the
Skippy the Punk.
Burton Police Chief. If I can give him a plug, Western Reserve Tree Care out of Manaway, and his crew came up and did a great job for me. Took up like 12 trees down, the stumps and everything, and he did such a good job. People in the neighborhood were coming out of the woodwork.
No kidding.
Guy across
No
the
pun
street.
intended.
Guy, no pun intended.
Oh!
Guy across the street came over. Guy next door came over. So bottom line is Rick probably landed like about 3-4 more contracts.
I'll tell you what.
Cool.
And what was
So-
the name of that tree service
Western,
again?
Western
Reserve
West-
Tree Service LLC, Manaway, Ohio. Rick Smigelski.
Western
Rick-
Reserve Tree Service.
AKA
Okay.
Skippy the Punk. So,
Skippy
you
the
know,
Punk. Although
Skippy
now
the
I
Punk-
call him Skippy the Lumberjack.
Amen. So,
Because I watched
He is
Skippy.
such-
I watched Skippy climb go like 30, 40 feet up in the air.
I
climbing
didn't
a
think
tree.
he could claim that high.
Did he say goony goo goo once he
Right.
was
And if that was me, I'd be cutting 10 feet off, watching him fall down. But anyway, great guy, good company.
Fantastic.
He's got crane services.
I saw his crane.
Woof.
Easy.
Oh,
Easy.
wow.
He bought
What do
that-
you expect? This is the Whiskey Roundtable.
he
Come
bought
on,
that-
Jimmy. I thought he was working on your trees.
He bought that. That crane was unbelievable.
He has a huge crane.
He has a huge crane, and he paid a lot of money for that. And but anyway, good guy. He's got as you know, or maybe not know. I know that Doug knows and Karen knows. Obviously, we have this huge maple tree in the back. The only big tree in the entire yard. I mean, monstrosity. So what do you think happened?
Came down.
It came down. Heavy winds, heavy rain, whole 9 yards. So, can I tell my story? All right.
Sure.
There's another one?
Yeah, no, I have a good story. So my whole tree goes down, and long story short, so I reach out to a friend of mine. I had 2 chainsaws. I buy nothing but steel, if you will.
Is that for juggling or?
Yeah, it's for juggling.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, so I reach out. I had loaned out my chainsaws. Okay. So the first guy called, said, "Hey, I'm going to need my chainsaw. My tree, half of my tree came down. I got to do this. I got to do that." And I said, "Can I get my chainsaw back?" And he says, "Well, I loaned it to a friend of mine.
Oh, about that,
I loaned it to a
chainsaw.
friend of mine."
I don't have it anymore.
And I said, "Okay, well, can I get it back?" And he says, "Well, he moved, and he took the chainsaw with him."
And it's
I
a steel.
said-
And it's a steel. And I know
It's a still.
what
I have 2 still. Now I have 2 stills.
STIHL?
Yes.
Yes.
And it's
So,
a very
he
expensive
says,
chainsaw.
Just to clarify,
I said, "Well,
everybody.
can I get my chainsaw back?" He says, "Well,
Yeah.
he moved to South Carolina."
Oh my God.
I said, "Well, are you buying me a new chainsaw?"
That would be my question.
So the next thing was crickets. Crickets. I said, "Well, somebody's buying me a chainsaw." And the chainsaw I loaned out was a brand new chainsaw.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's...
So he says, "Okay, I'll see what I can do."
You wouldn't even lend somebody something if it wasn't top rate, because I know how you are. I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm anal about, listen, I do
Yeah.
something for you, I just want it back.
Yeah.
So then I called my other friend and I said, "I need my chainsaw." Now, we're talking about a 16 blade,
yeah.
and my other chainsaw was an 18 blade. And I said, "I need my chainsaw." And he says, "I'll drop it off to you." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Cool." So I get the chainsaw, the blade's missing, the chain's gone, the cover's gone, and the bolts are gone. And I call him up, I said, "Where's my chainsaw?" "Well, we had a problem, this and that, da 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 da." I said,
I'm sorry. I would just buy a new one
I'm
and give it to you
sending my
if it were me.
chainsaw
Like I would
to
never. How could
Still
you do that?
over in Manaway
Yeah.
to get my chainsaw fixed. Okay? So that's his point. I reach out. I'm on Craigslist now. Skippy says, Smigelsi says, "Gee, you want this chainsaw?" I'm like, "Okay." I go, boom, reach out to the guy. I pick up my chainsaw. I get there. The guy's like, the chainsaw is like brand new. You were talking about a $500, $600 chainsaw.
It's more than that for a steel.
Yeah.
I buy it for $280, and this freaking chainsaw is brand new. He goes, I think I used it 5 times. It might have been 3 times. I'm not really sure. The chainsaw was, the only thing it was missing was the case. He had the sleeve for the saw. He goes, "I can't find the case. I know I have it. I'm moving. When I find it, I will give it to you." I'm like, "Okay, fine." But at the end of the day, never loan anything out.
Yeah.
When people ask, "Can I borrow?"
Right.
all you need to do
Yeah.
is, "I'm not giving it."
Don't
to you."
loan it out if
Don't
if
loan it
you're
out.
not willing to lose it.
Well,
that's
that's bull-
unfortunate,
that's bull
but
crap.
you know. That's,
Yeah.
So I'm down to 1 chainsaw.
No more juggling. I guess you can't
Amen.
juggle right now.
So that's my bullshit story. But anyway, go ahead.
All right, let's get on to whiskey. Tonight's whiskey, because we have a long whiskey wizard, because we're doing the Johnny Walker Taste Test Challenge, Johnny Walker Blue Taste Test Challenge, Blind Taste Test Challenge Part 2. So I know everybody out there is really waiting pins and needles to see how that turns out. Okay, so we're doing the Bruichladdich, and why don't we turn it over to Karen, who will tell us a little bit more about tonight's whiskey.
Okay, so the Bruichladdich, actually, Bruichladdich. I had to practice this before.
Oh, I
the show.
mean, it took me I always call it Bruichladdich, but whatever. I mean, it's Gaelic, so
all that took me was a picture. But
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, jeez, Louise.
I was like, "You got this?" Yeah, we have it. I'll be right there.
I know.
It
not
actually,
important.
the meaning of it, it means corner of the beach or gentle slope of the sea, which in your bottle cam, you got
Yeah.
to see where that is. Again, this is an Isla.
So by
Basically.
definition, if it's on Isla, it can't be very far from the sea.
Well, and what I grabbed a map just so that you can see it. So it's this little blue island off here.
Oh, nice! You got some.
So you can
visuals
see
for
where the
everybody.
Isla's from. So yeah, I mean you're pretty much on the beach.
Yeah.
That's the beach, huh?
Most of the Isla distilleries, for whatever reason, are on the water. So probably to facilitate shipments and all that kind of stuff. But
It was actually built, the distillery was built in 1881 by the Harvey brothers. It was Robert, William, and John. The Harvey family, actually owned distilleries dating back to 1770. And the brothers used their inheritance to build the Bruichladdich distillery. But they ran the distillery until William passed away in 1936. The distillery changed hands many times, and then in 2000, it was bought by Murray McDavid. How's that for a Scottish name? He refurbished the distillery into an old Victorian style and started production. And then in July of 2012, the distillery was bought by Remy Cointreau.
Cointreau.
And they still own
French.
them today. So the Bruichladdich has different brands.
Yeah.
This is actually an unpeated Isla, which
Unpeated, which again, Isla's known for its smoke and its peat, and it's an unpeated Isla. So I'm trying to think of a funny analogy, but I can't come up with one.
another fast.
But, yeah, I mean, but it's I don't know.
Well, I'll keep talking if it comes
Yeah,
to you.
yeah,
You
okay.
just slide that in there.
If I come up with one, I'll throw it in there later.
But the Bruichladdich they also do peated whiskeys as well, and there's one called the Octomore, which
Is peated for sure.
very heavily peated. Yes.
Yeah, if you're a peat head, you'll love that one.
Peathead.
So the Octomore actually, so the water that they use to make the whiskey, it's actually from the Octomore spring. So that's where it gets that name.
Sorry, kids.
No, you're good. The Bruichladdich, the distillery has 5 pot stills, 2 wash stills, 2 spirit stills, and they recently added a Lomond still to their still room. So
Okay,
I had never heard.
I'm the whiskey wizard, and I don't know what a Loman still is.
So let me tell
Wow.
you what.
Oh,
a
let me
Lomond
tell me
tell you
about
what it is.
that.
Let
All
me
right, I'm
tell
I
you.
love to learn new things.
I just want to
So-
say that I'm sorry not to cut you off. Ralphie is in New York drinking CYPB Buffalo Trace. I hope you get the shits tomorrow. Go ahead.
Nice.
Wow.
That is my favorite drink.
Short
But anyway,
glass.
go ahead.
Okay,
No,
but
that's-
you know it
yeah,
is it's
that's
Scotch
short
Whiskey
glass.
Month. I don't
No,
know what
that's
he's
not
doing,
short
but
glass.
Great
anyway.
room. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Sidecar. That's his name.
Sidecar, okay.
Jeez. Okay. So, anyways, a Lomond still. I have a picture of it here. So I'm gonna throw
you
that
are
up
great.
on the
You're-
screen.
Johnny on the spot with the pictures, and Jimmy.
Well,
kinda
Susan.
wild.
my curiosity
We
got
find
the
it on the
best
tip.
of me with this. So I'm going to leave that picture up while I read about the Lomond still. So the Lomond still, it consists of a pot topped with a neck, fitted with several plates, which can be turned on or off depending on what the whiskey producer is
There you
looking
go, Jimmy.
to make.
That's a Loman still.
So the Loman still, it was developed by an engineer at Hiram Walker, and that was Alistair Cunningham in 1955. At the time, Hiram Walker controlled several Scottish distilleries, and the blended Scotch was very, very popular. And the idea behind this still was allowing distillers to make a range of whiskey styles on one single piece of equipment. So by choosing which plates to engage, they can simulate a short neck still, a long neck still, or something in between. So it's pretty
It's
unique.
it is. That's interesting. I was a chuckle because Steve Galwan says maybe I'll buy Fabio a case of Sprite to go with his scotch.
Oh.
Nothing.
Here's a guy that wouldn't drink a bottle of Willet. But anyway.
Oh my goodness. So that's your Loman still. Anyways,
Nice.
It's our friendship. Trust me. It's between the three of us. It's great. It's great. I love
That
the.
was fun.
I love the what do you call that?
Camaraderie.
Camaraderie.
Jimmy
the
likes a little
sarcasm.
scotch with his ice, but that's
Listen,
all right.
that's right.
We don't mind that.
Steve's a great guy. He likes his whiskey. I appreciate him.
We always say, you like it how you like it. So, no judgment.
Nope.
Hey, straight up tonight, Steve. Okay.
All right,
Nothing
okay.
in the,
Well,
nothing
when-
in the scotch.
Yeah, because
Oh.
if you're going to be a guest on the show and taste and knows, you have to do it straight up.
No, I'm moving towards
I know.
towards the whiskey wizard way of drinking.
I know.
There you
I've
go.
seen a lot of progress over the last year. So. All right. So why don't we?
So we're doing the classic Laddie.
Yeah.
This mash bill, it's 100% Scotch barley. Again, it is
course.
an unpeated Isla. What I thought was very unique about this is it's 100 proof.
Whoa.
Yeah. So a lot of Scottish whiskeys, for whatever reason, single malts are 80, right there at the.
80 to 85, 90 range
Now
sometimes.
it's either that's because they've learned through time, that's just where they taste the best, or it's the Scots being the cheap bastards we know they are. So
Oh. Okay.
Oh, no, he didn't. Anyway, there's
hey,
no...
I'm one of them, so I don't.
Me too.
I can say that.
There's no age statement on this
Yeah.
at all. And, Greg, I know you just picked this up. What I found online is that it goes for between $50 $55.
Right.
What did you happen to pick it up for today? Do you remember?
Right about that price.
Right about that
That's
price.
a good price.
Yeah.
Has Scotch come down? Because I got this Dalmore for like $50, and it's usually been like $80. So, and I got a Glenfarclas 12 for next week that was reasonably. I mean, that's
So-
usually $90.
You know what I'd like to try? I don't mean to cut you
No,
off or
it's
cut
fine.
the show. So the Delmore has a which I would love
Cigar.
to do on the show with cigars because they have a cigar Delmore.
I know.
Yes.
And it's a big dollars. I had a couple of bottles. I'm down to one. I'd like to find another one to do the show.
Let's
And,
do that. Yeah,
I
let's
would-
definitely do that
that would
before
be-
the year is over.
Yeah,
let's
it
try
would
to
be
do
awesome.
that.
Just
Yeah.
not for a taste test or any of that stuff.
No,
for
we'll
the
just-
show.
on the show. Yeah, we'll
Okay,
just do a regular.
I know you don't
yeah.
smoke, but we
Yeah.
get some. Maybe Jimmy comes back, or
Yeah, exactly.
whatever, and we
Yeah,
do.
that's perfect. With have Jimmy on
That'd
for
be
that.
awesome.
I'll bring
That'd
some
be awesome.
Sprite.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Only
All
if
right.
Judy lets you know.
Oh.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, let's get into this.
Okay,
kid.
let's taste.
Ooh.
All right, let's do the nosy. Nosy.
Nosy.
Just dump my whole speaker. But anyway, all right, let's get into this.
Oh, right off the bat, I'll just say in general, that's nice.
That's
It
beautiful.
is fruit.
That's right.
Fruity
Citrus.
and
Citrus. Not harsh at all. I mean nothing.
to me, it's more than citrus. I get more like orchard fruit, peach
Orange?
or
Orange?
apricot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
maybe
orchard fruit?
peach.
Everything in the
apricot,
orchard,
you know.
so to say.
Oh, like it grows on a tree. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Depends
Peaches.
on
I get a
didn't
little.
know that.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I get orange out of it. I get ethanol, a little ethanol out of it. So,
Stone fruit is also another term. For it.
beautiful.
Oh, that's a very, very I almost get a little bit of tropical fruit along with the peaches or stone fruit. Very fruity. I mean, light and fruity. Of course, there's a little vanilla because it's. I'm
Very
sure
light.
it's ex-bourbon first fill, and some
Honey,
caramel
Honey?
honey for sure.
honey.
A little caramel. That's a nice nose. That's a very.
Beautiful.
You know, it's funny with most scotches, regardless, even though it's 100% malt, I don't get a lot of maltiness. One of the ones we did on the taste test, I could smell malt, but usually I don't. Anyway, this is the same way, but I love it. Lots of fruit, light fruit, you know, that vanilla, caramel, honey. It's a very
I did.
great nose.
The peat is like super light.
It's unpeated. That's
Oh,
why.
peated.
Okay, it's like there's nothing there.
I would
No, it's
say
on-
also, you know, it's very just very soft, and I like that. It's almost like maybe some like graham crackers in there or something, just something.
So
I like that.
we always talk about oak or vanilla. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because that bourbon cask, right?
Right.
So bourbon cask, you add a lot of the vanilla tones.
But you know, as far as you said, there was no peat. But you know, you say I'm looking for the peat, but I really don't. I can't find it. But there just that little hint, so to say, of peat.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they say it's non-peated, but you still have that little hint of peat. All right, let's dive in,
All right,
kids.
okay, let's try the palate.
So while you guys are trying it, the nose that I
Yes.
pulled, the notes: caramel, honey, orchard fruit, baking spice, tropical fruit, multi-gram, vanilla, and orange petals.
All right.
With
Orange petals.
wafts of sea air.
Well, I got a lot of those. I didn't get wafts of sea air,
awesome.
A quaff or a waff.
but okay.
Waft.
I can envision wafts of sea air now that you say that.
Okay, now let's taste this.
Okay, let's see.
We in?
Nectar of the gods.
Definitely
Very
doesn't
good.
taste
You know,
like Sprite. No
very
Sprite
good.
there.
No
No
Sprite.
Sprite.
No Sprite.
No,
No Spritey taste.
I still
You-
stay with that orchard fruit on the palate.
It doesn't.
Yeah, that's
No, it's just
Strong
very
apple.
smooth.
apple. Do you get? Yeah, I get some. Again, I don't know if it's peach or apple, but it's very.
You can say what you want, but on the taste, you can say what you want. I know what you're gonna say, but I definitely get a little peatness. They say it's non-peated, but at the end of the day, I get a little peatness out of it.
Well, everyone gets their own
Yeah,
flavors from it. Definitely. It's
very good. I mean, I didn't on the nose and the palate for 100 proof. I get not get much ethanol. A little, but
I get ethanol out of it for sure. It's got a little heat to it. I ain't gonna lie to you.
It has a longer finish than most light scotches that I've tried before.
It's very enjoyable. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie to you.
I
you
can't
said
believe
it's
I
non-peated,
cannot
but
believe it's 100 proof.
I know.
I'm
That's
telling you, maybe that's the ethanol.
it's a nice, well-rounded whiskey. The flavors all blend really well.
Yeah. You get something else out of there, Craig?
Going back to honey.
Jimmy, what do you think?
And some oak definitely comes through.
I like the. I
It's
agree
dry.
with the apple. I
Yeah.
get that.
I get dryness out of it, but I'm gonna say that's oak. But I'm sorry, I know it's non-peated, but I get that still hint of peat in it. I do, I
Okay.
really do. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a really nice long finish. Vanilla oak I get on the finish.
I say vanilla oak, but honey. I get a lot of honey out of it.
I agree with you. You get a little bit of menthol. I
Yeah.
get that.
Oh, okay.
I get a little bit of that now. So,
All right.
but
Where we going?
it's not.
Okay.
It's not unpleasant.
Let's ask Steve.
Great mouthfeel. It's got a great mouthfeel. It's
So, palate, multi-gram orchard fruit, baking spice.
I think I said Graham, did I?
You did.
Yeah, Graham. Yeah, Graham.
Yep.
At least
You
on
did
the
say
nose, anyway.
Vanilla and honey,
Okay.
red apples and white grapes, touches of sweet cinnamon and brown sugar.
Didn't get cinnamon. Usually that's, I get that a lot, typically in a rye or a bourbon, but not. I don't get that.
I think because the finish is longer, I can see how that can be pulled out of there for some
Yeah.
people. But I didn't get a cinnamon taste on that. The finish, they say, is medium. Again, fruit, graham, vanilla, oak, and char.
Yep.
Mineral-rich malt with toffee and more honey.
Very good. Well, Greg, Greg and I typically, between the two of us, we usually get all those things. We're pretty good record between the two of us. So.
Different.
And
with the
Jimmy, I
cigar,
think you
huh?
got most of
I'm
these.
gonna try it with a cigar.
I
We
get
want to
the-
keep
the-
doing
the
this
char
every
I get
show.
that,
Try to get a
so.
little cigar. See how the cigar impressions maybe adjust the palate. So
The ethanol goes away. I'm gonna say grape. Honey. I
yeah,
keep
grape
coming
and
back
honey.
to honey.
And you're a honey freak, so.
I am a honey freak. I'm just gonna roll with that. Good drink. That's a great drink.
And it really is. I'm surprised. An unpeated Isla. Part of me didn't really think I'd like it. But this is really good, I gotta say. But we're not to the scoring part. What? Any comments? Steve?
I love it.
I know you like it.
I think it's it's very easy on the palate for me. It is. So,
Yeah.
And I agree with the apple and the honey.
I don't
I
get
get
any
that.
apple out of it at all.
I don't get any.
Yeah, red apple.
I don't
too.
get any peat.
If anything, it's like a green apple kind of taste. But.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely.
So-
Jimmy, next time you bring this over, I'm definitely going to steal a little pour of that.
You can
Nice.
steal a little port tonight, Karen.
But before we get on to the scoring, let's try another.
Bottle cam.
What are we drinking? Let's. I think the bottle cam will tell us. Here we go.
Hey everyone, it's time for the bottle cam. The bottle cam.
Goodbye.
Got a little dizzy on the end of that bottle cam. Whoa. Okay.
You never know on the bottle cam what's going to happen.
No, you do not know.
Okay.
All right, so are we
I-
going to score this now?
I think
Let's do it.
let's do it a little different tonight. We'll start with our guest on our 1 to 5 whiskey roundtable scoring. What do you got, Jimmy?
Well, based on the scoring that you guys use, this is something I would have to have around all the time.
Sure.
Me personally.
Yeah.
You like
I don't like peated Scotch, even though I'm a huge Scotch fan. I don't get the peat in it, but I was surprised when you said it was 100 proof, and so I would give it a solid 4. Although I know that's a rare,
Right, there you
I
go,
know that's
man.
a rare score.
No, it's not a rare score.
not at
I
all.
would give it a
It's not
solid
rare
4.
score.
We're giving plenty
Amen,
of 4s.
bro. Amen.
We have a lot of
Amen.
3 somethings, but that's okay.
Huh?
Big G, what do you got?
My personal opinion, I know it's non-peated. I tasted peat. I don't know however it blends, but at the end of the day, I'm a 3.9.
3.9.
Wow.
Nice score. Yeah.
All right. I will go next,
Yeah.
and I will give this a solid 4.
Yeah.
wow.
Wow.
Shit, Negro.
I agree with you, Jimmy. I think this is definitely something you want to have on your bar.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
That's a
And,
great drink, man.
You know, we always look for things. If you're not a Scotch drinker, this could be something you
For
want to
non-peated,
start.
I'm not lying to you. I mean, I get that hint of peat, even though it's not peated. But you can't take the peat away. No matter if you're doing that distilling thing, the whole 9 yards, peated, non-peated, whatever.
Well,
You can say
look,
whatever they want.
you might have something, Greg, because I'm sure that distillery, that the amount of peated malt they pump out of there, you know, you can't get that silo perfectly isolated and clean. It's in the environment. You know, I know you well enough. That's probably there. I don't get it in this personally, but I'm sure that if you're sensitive enough to it, it's probably there. It's sharing space with all that highly peated malt and whiskey. So,
All right, brother.
but for
Thank
me,
you. Thank you,
I
William.
do love this. I got to say, I'm very surprised, and I love without peat, but I really enjoy. You know, it's got so much richness. It's got so many things happening
Right.
in a
Beautiful.
very
Even without the
integrated
Sprite,
way, so that
it's got a lot of stuff
yeah,
going on.
yeah, it does, and it's very integrated. It just kind of makes sense to your palate the way everything tastes, and so
what do you
I'm
got,
gonna
Doc?
I'm giving it a 4.05.
Oh! Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That's the official Wizard score on this one.
All right. Well,
Maybe we have Steve. Maybe we have Steve on the show, and he would go for. We'll just do water that day.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, to see. Oh my
oh,
gosh.
that's funny. So Steve Gallowan is
Oh, what's up? What's
asking
up?
price
What's
point.
up, Sergeant?
Price point is $50 to $55.
Right.
Right. Which
so
is fantastic.
Yeah,
for
which is
this.
for that bottle of scotch, that's a great price.
that's a great price.
For
It's
almost
not,
any
What's that?
good Scotch. That's incredible pricing. And this
How about
is
this
a-
pricing, Bob?
Yeah, 55. I mean, that, for a single malt.
Yeah,
that's-
okay.
Well, it's a single malt, non-age statement, but still.
It's
And
a
I don't
great-
care when I taste it. That's what matters. I don't care how many.
I just have to go
years
back.
it has
I
on
just
it.
have to go back to Balvenie 17 year.
Oh. Yeah.
Who turned me on to scotches, even though
Yeah.
I'm not a scotch guy. But at the end of the day, you are a great scotch
Yeah.
person. You pick out a lot of good stuff, and I'm not a scotch person, so to say.
Oh, I'm not putting
At
that
the
above.
end
I'm
of the
not
day-
putting that above Balvenie. I'm
I
not
understand
saying, I'm
that,
not
but at
saying
the end
that's
of the day,
yeah.
you drink some good scotch.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Bob
Thank
Leckham has joined us.
Bob. Oh,
Yeah.
Bob. Oh, hey, Bob. Bob, Cleveland whiskey.
That cigar malt is awesome. He mentioned the Dalmore we were talking about.
Yes, and that's kind of how I got my Helen Keller name, because I picked that out
Yeah.
and it ended up being one of the favorites.
I'm glad he's watching
Yeah.
the show today.
Yeah.
He says sorry
Right.
he tuned in late, which is
That's
okay.
okay. That's okay.
Welcome,
Okay.
Bob.
So we're gonna do a show for Cleveland whiskey. I think we're talking. We're gonna talk about probably September, so to say. It might be October because I know we're gonna do
Yeah, it could, because
Canadian.
We only have a couple shows in
So
September.
we had some of their new product out. At the end of the day, they had some new product out. He was kind enough to give us a bottle, so we're gonna do that. And but anyway, Bob, great guy. He has his faith. I
Yeah.
call him the Reverend.
Cool.
Great guy. So I can't wait for him to do the show. I can't wait.
I'm
So-
gonna just give another quick shout
Quick.
out to Nunzio, who's tuning in all the way from his Canadian
Nunzio.
vacation.
Nunzio, did you finally
Way to
make it
go.
there?
Where is he?
He's up in Canada visiting friends.
Nunzio, tell Dave, make sure you wash my friggin' Suburban. But anyway,
All right. All
Oh
right.
my
They have your
goodness.
Suburban?
they have my Suburban.
Well,
On that note, should we go to the whiskey?
they have
I
your-
wish to go to
Do
the
they have your
whiskey.
chainsaw too?
No, I have that in the back of Dave's car.
We have a hefty,
Sorry,
wizard tonight.
Oh, shit.
I think we should get right to it. This concludes our Johnny Walker Blue blind taste test challenge. So we'll wrap this up and we'll see how it all turns out. Can Johnny Walker Blue live up to its reputation? We'll find out right now.
All right, kids, we'll be right back.
Whiskey Wizard! It's the Whiskey Wizard!
Hello and welcome to Whiskey Wizard, where we say that whiskey making takes scientific knowledge, an artisan's skill and dedication, and a bit of the wizard's alchemy of light, air, earth, and fire. Tonight, we're finishing up with our scientific blind taste test, putting the revered Johnny Walker Blue Label to the Whiskey Roundtable Taste Test Challenge. Last week in part 1, we talked about the Blue Label product, its history, and its commercial status with the public and those who purvey whiskey to them. We initiated our blind random taste test amongst our 4 participants, myself, Big G, and our friends Matt Sosa and Joe Fragapane. Again, we were blindfolded so we could not see the contents of our glass, and the order was mixed, so no one necessarily had the same whiskey during each tasting round. Okay, so basically as scientifically objective as we could make it. So tonight we finish it up with part 2, where we begin with our last 2 tasting rounds, and then we'll tally the results to see how Johnny Walker Blue Label fared against the 3 other more or less standard single malt offerings available at your local liquor store. Okay, so here we go as we finish up our Johnny Walker Blue Taste Test Challenge.
This one smells so much more body than
Round
the
3,
first.
round 3, sorry. Yeah.
This has got so much more body than the first 2. I can't pick out all the little nuances, but
That's all right.
it smells more fuller to me. And with my mouth open, which it always is.
I saw a
That's
dribble
not
fell out.
that wasn't a hard
No, that was a moth.
Oh, was that a moth?
Yeah.
I thought that was your wallet. Sorry.
Just up it.
So,
Go ahead.
the second sampling that I had is dominating still. This is thinner. There's some, for the first time, I'm picking up some floral notes. There's not a lot of depth to this nose. I'm getting some ethanol because there doesn't have a lot of overlay character. I don't get much peat.
So, Joe, can I ask you a quick question?
Sir,
Did you cleanse your palates with that soda water?
I did,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I always highly recommend that.
Yeah, I
You
know.
wash it around your mouth, that's all.
Good
but
point.
I'm not tasting. I'm
Good
just
point,
smell-
Big G. Okay. All right, so anything else, Joe, you want to add?
No, it's just interesting. It's the first time that any floral notes and maybe some citrus
Right.
is starting to appear. I didn't
Citrus,
have
did you say?
A little citrus.
Okay, those are good observations.
Okay.
Big G?
All right, right off the nose, it was straight licorice.
That's a good one.
Straight, there's something else in your hand. I'm gonna say black licorice for sure. Oh man, there's something else in there. It's knocking on the door. Damn it. I get little ethanol. I don't get
One
any
track
peat
mind.
at all, man. But there's something else in here. I just can't put my finger on it, kids. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let me go with the taste.
Yeah. You're gonna lead us in the taste? You go right
Oh, I'm
ahead.
sorry.
It's Matt's turn to lead in the
Doug-
taste.
Oh,
Doug's
I'm
got a
sorry. Go
nose.
ahead. Go ahead. I'm
Doug's
sorry.
got
Go,
a
go,
nose.
go, go. I'm sorry. I'm being self-centered.
I'm getting a lot here, and surprisingly, I'm having a little trouble picking out. Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm getting a little better fix. Okay. I'm getting lots of oak again. I have to say I'm not getting peat. That's, I don't know how surprising that is or not. I'm not getting any smoke or peat. There's a rich, smooth tone of vanilla, and this is not like, this is more of a, not butterscotch, this is more of like like a toffee. There's a candy. Sweet
That's what I'm picking up on here is butterscotch, straight up butterscotch and licorice.
So okay, I hope that I get a little more definition on the palate. So Matt, you can be our first taster and scorer.
Well, I've tasted mine while you guys were nosing yours.
Okay, good.
This one's got a little bit more heat to it than the other two, which for me that translates into a little bit more flavorful. It stays on the palate a little bit longer. I like this one better than the other two. I would be a smart aleck and say I give it a 3.14, which means it goes on for eternity because that's pie. But I'm going to give this one a 3.75. This is something that I would probably sit in my backyard smoking a Royal Havana cigar and watching Whiskey Roundtable with my buddy Ricky.
Oh, you ass kiss.
Did I get enough in
Total
there?
ass kiss.
Mwah.
Wow.
All right, Joe.
Hey, Rick, F him, I'll pick you up. Don't worry about it.
All right.
I think I need a costume change. I
Joe?
can't hang here anymore with a suit, this rental.
Oh,
This rental.
So,
goodness.
After I gave you my early comments, I kept smelling the glass, and the deeper I took a sniff, the more leather started coming out, which was interesting for me. I never had that before, where I took such a deep breath in that it brought things out. This, compared to the others, is more dynamic in a shift from the nose to the palate. A lot more going on than I expected. Some really darker caramels. There's more peat in here than I expected to see.
Okay.
Very, very well balanced. I love scotches, and if a single malt can bring a lot of character in the profile, that gets my attention, and this has my attention.
Okay.
Yeah, I put it at a 3.4.
3.4.
I
Okay.
very much enjoy having it on
Wow,
the shelf.
we're populating the 3 zone pretty intensely here.
Leather.
Gee, it's to you on the taste of
So I
score.
when I first picked this glass up and smelled, I said I had straight licorice out of it, but then there was something else that I couldn't put my finger on that I know I've had many times, and butterscotch is definitely the power of this drink. It definitely is. It smells fantastic. So I'm gonna hit it, kids.
Okay. I'm sneaking in a little taste.
That's really nice. That's smooth. I'm gonna say it drinks more like a whiskey than it does a scotch. It does have.
Well, Scotch is a whiskey. So
Oh, well,
you mean
I
American
said
whiskey?
bourbon.
Yeah,
know,
American
okay.
whiskey.
So
I'm just translating for
I understand. I get it. But it's got a nice candy finish. I'm going to say that's probably part of the butterscotch. It's smooth. It's pleasurable. It's very silky. It's a very silky drink. It's not like you drink some bourbons and you have that whiskey and that power and all that. This is a little bit toned down, but it's good. I'm gonna throw this at a 3.7, man.
Okay, very good. So, I am enjoying this. It's got, it's very much like got some cookie dough, a little bit of kind of corn syrup, just a hint of that. Not that it's overly sweet. That's all I can describe it as, and it's definitely, again, I'm not getting anything in the profile that tells me smoke or peat.
Right.
This is rich, it's full bodied, it's very satisfying. I'm kind of rounded out on the finish with some earthy tones, a little bit of leather, a little bit of it's just that almost that raw malt, and I know they don't use raw malt, but just that smell. If you've ever had like brewer's malt that's been ground into it, and that's kind of what it is. Which surprisingly, I don't get in a lot of Scotch. This is for me. This is really good. I'm going to give this a 3.75.
Well, it sounds to me like me and you were drinking the same drink.
It
And I'll
might
tell
be.
you what, it's very, I said, silky, it's not, I forget what you said, the terminology that you used, but yeah, definitely rich.
And this has a very nice mouthfeel.
It is, it's fantastic.
So, anyway,
My favorite
Okay.
one, it's my favorite one.
finish,
so.
drink up that
I
fast.
do. I
All
mean,
right, can we pull our mask down now?
No,
are we still, what are we doing?
We're doing
We're in
round
the
4.
final.
Yeah, but
we're
I
in the
thought-
home
Final
stretch.
round. Cleanse your palates.
This is
everybody.
That's what I did. Well, okay.
We're on the back stretch.
Cleanse your palates. Get a good.
oh, hey,
They'll take away the empty glasses.
I like
bring
this.
us fresh.
a glass of whiskey mysteriously appears in my hand.
Yeah.
Very nice.
On a Wednesday evening of all days.
Yeah. Is it Friday yet?
Got it?
Can I nose it? Your nose it first.
Yeah, this is. We're starting with Joe on this one.
All right.
This is it. The final big round 4, and then we're gonna have our. We'll have
Results.
to crunch our data
Oh.
and let everybody know what the big results
I'll
are.
cook the sausages while you're crunching data.
That's fine. That's a good thing for you to.
Anybody
do.
need me to walk on their back or anything?
So I need someone
yeah,
to walk
sure.
on my back.
All right. I'll bring my hammer.
Okay.
Uh,
All right, Joseph.
Go ahead, Joe. I'm
yes.
sorry.
So Mago, my compliments to the selection that you've made this evening. No 4 of these scotches paralleled each other at all.
I
They were
agree.
all different. They all have their own personalities. This is no.
But I feel like they're all in the same ballpark. Right?
Well, from a quality standpoint, I'd be excited to have any of these on the shelf to share with my guests at my house. But nobody visits. But that'll change.
I was just there like a
Hey,
week.
Jackie,
Yeah.
what's your address? We'll
Right,
go there
right.
after this.
We're coming over Saturday. We're spending the night.
So the nose on this scotch is unique. It has profiles similar to the other 3, except this really dominates in citric acid. I'm getting this tightness of wonderful citrus, and it has kind of an orange profile to it. It's masking any ethanol that I'm picking up, even though there's a thinness to it. But there's a brown sugar, but it's light brown sugar. I don't want to say that it has anything to do with rum, but I'm just feeling very tropical right now with
Could be
this as
rum
we go.
cask. It could
Oh,
be-
Yeah, but this will have me excited on the taste because I just like I like how forward it is again, and on the acidic side, it's getting my attention. I like it.
Okay, G.
All right. I'm going to hit it.
Oh, you're nosing.
We're nosing right now.
Didn't I already know it?
No, you
No,
have to
Oh, I'm
nose.
sorry. Hey, I'm way behind. I'm tired. I'm just over here. Joe's talking,
Joe's always
I
talking.
want
That's
to
no
go cut my
problem.
grass. I'm just kidding.
I'll cut your grass.
Yeah, you don't know if you want to.
Don't offer. Trust me.
This is where I say to Joe, you're stupid.
No, I just want to get away from answering phones.
So I do get a light ethanol. I don't get any smoke. I get no peat. I do get a dry butterscotch, if that can make any sense. I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting any licorice. I'm not getting any. Maybe a little bit of leather. Maybe. Other than that, that's really all I got, kids.
Okay.
I'm gonna try it.
No, you must wait.
Okay. All right. One more
He's
time.
Russian.
Joe's got the
You know, I know
first.
they call you Mr. G. I'm going to call you Master G. Just out of respect. Just like the whole.
It's,
Master
Big G, Joe.
Even so, see, I can't. I have to get respect in there. You know,
Oh my goodness.
Big G.
Get in the trunk.
I'm getting
ahead.
honey, heather, and I get in this one just the faintest hint of smoke, but very, I get the floral notes. I get the heather and a little bit of honey. It's a very, and I would say maybe to your last comments, the last one, I get a little, maybe just a little licorice or anise on this one. So those are my notes. So I guess over now to Matt.
All right. First of all, my kudos to Doug. He said he was looking for parity with these four, and I think they're very similar for me with my unfinished nose and my unfinished palate. But this one here, is it possible to say that there's a little bit of floral and saltiness combined?
Sure.
Has that ever happened before?
Oh, of course.
Sure.
Well, if
That's
you're
what I'm
sipping at
getting.
the ocean. for
Either
sure.
that or I'm just sweating profusely into this thing. But
You'd be surprised how the barrels absorb that salt.
I mean, it's I get a little bit of salt and sweet at the same time. So, yeah, I'm curious to see how this one tastes and compares to the other three.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right, Joe.
Joe, you're the
Joe's
tasting
tasting
man.
and the scoring.
I don't know if it's because it's number 4 and we're closing it out, but
Or we're drawn.
that is, no, far from that. This to me is the most sophisticated of the experiences of all 4 glasses.
Nice.
Everything comes together here.
Nice.
It's the best balance between nose and palate. The tightness of that citric acid that and on the nose brings a long profile to the palate. It's just perfectly balanced. There's barrel. I can taste oak, but it's not. There's not a heavy peat. There's not heavy smoke. It's just a nuance, and it still allows a sweetness that balances with this. Again, the acid profiles I think are just so nice, and I'm one who really enjoys a flavor that extends through the palate, and it's not short, and it doesn't go up and down with different profiles. It just stays long. This to me, if I'm going to give it an overall experience with nose to profile and taste and flavor and all that, this is a 4.0 for me.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
I haven't got one up there in that.
Finally.
In that realm.
I'm impressed with this.
Very nice. My turn?
Yeah.
Get a lot of honey. Get a lot of candy. Sweet. The peat is there. It's not super prominent, but it's there. It lets you know. It's got a light smoke to it. There's it's more heat than I would like, but trying to figure out some other stuff there. Hang on, kids. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Doug, you talked about dough. I would say it's more like a cookie dough. It's nice. It's a nice drink. I would say maybe a little dark fruit, so to say. Don't get a lot of dryness out of it. I do get a little bit of salt on it, but I don't get a lot of dryness out of it. I'm going to rate this at a 3.2.
Okay. I'm wondering if maybe it'd be a little switcheroo on us, but
Ooh.
All those ladies.
I know you are the wizard.
Is this where we take our mask off and beat the hell out of people? What are we doing? Can I
Do
go
what
first?
to people?
Can I go first?
okay. I mean, a lot of what Greg just said, I get a lot of what Joe. So I'm just, wondering if it's possible they tricked us by giving us all the same whiskeys for each round. even though we thought different.
I don't think so.
You don't think they did that?
No.
Okay. Anyway, this is refined. That's the only way I can describe it. I get just a little bit of smoke. I get just a little bit of heat. I get soft honey, heather. I get a little bit of like light stone fruit. And then there's just a hint of some oak in there that says some decent aging has taken place. And I think it all came together very well in this whiskey. I'm with Joe. I'm giving this 4.05.
Nice. Well, he is the module.
There you go.
Gotta have the highest rate. Has to be.
Well, I guess I'm the last one, but I think, not to be trite, but I think they gave these to me in ascending order because this was my favorite one of the four.
There you go.
I'll give this like a 3.95. It's compared to other things I've sampled in the past. It's right there. A 4 being that I would just sip it every night, but this is something that would be right there in that ballpark. So I would give it a 3.95 because Doug gave it a 4.05. So between the two of us.
Okay. Very good. So,
All right.
We done shooting?
finish them up.
Oh,
We can take off the
Oh.
blindfolds. Whoa. Okay, so that was really interesting and fun. I have to say, I'm sure my counterparts would agree. Now, here are the other 3 single malt whiskeys that were part of our little experiment. Number 1, Glenrothes 12-year, a Speyside. 2, Dalwhinnie 15-year, a Highland whiskey. And third is Aberlour 12-year, another Speyside. So now I'll just say each of these is likely available at your better stocked local retailers, and each is much less expensive than Johnnie Walker Blue. Okay, so how did it all turn out as far as this Johnnie Walker Blue blind taste test challenge? First off, let's discuss the scores, because that's what everyone wants to know. Okay, the big winner was the Dalwhinnie 15-year-old with an average score of 3.638. Aberlour 12-year-old came in second with 3.563. And Johnnie Walker Blue came in third with a 3.438. And that was rounded out by Glenrothes 12-year at a score of 3.300. All are still very good, respectable scores. So there you have it. At least from the standpoint of our little experiment, I would simply say, in response to the question, is Johnnie Walker Blue really that good? From the sound of it, no.
By the sounds of it, no.
Granted, the spread of the scoring was pretty narrow. Still, Johnnie Walker Blue came in third out of a field of 4. Not that great of a performance. Certainly not a clearly stands out above the rest kind of result. So as far as picking favorites, Big G favored the Aberlour 12, as did Joe Fragapane. I favored the Glenkinchie 15, and Matt Sosa did take to the Johnnie Walker Blue, which does make sense, as his palate seems to favor the range of Johnnie Walker blended offerings that are out there. The 2 contestants of Italian heritage selected the same whiskey as their favorite. I wonder what that might mean. Clearly, with the other single malts selected for our study being available to the consumer at less than half the cost of the Johnnie Walker Blue, I'll let the viewers decide if it's worth it. Look, I know there's a wow factor here, especially to the only slightly whiskey familiar or novice Scottish malt whiskey drinkers when it comes to the Johnnie Walker Blue product. Look, if you're going to your boss's birthday bash and you just know he likes scotch, I can see why one might pick it. It does say, I want to get you the best they have. The problem I see is that its reputation may have to do with marketing, its position in the display case, and the high price tag to go along with it, more than it does from being based upon tangibles and the opinions of seasoned appreciators of fine malt whiskey. Still, one member of our test participants did score it most favorably, which goes to underscore something I've always said. Whiskey's a subjective thing to a point, and you'll like what you like. Never apologize for your preference. It is part of what makes you, you. Thanks to all my fellow taste testers, and special thanks to my wife Shauna and Jackie Fragapane for managing the blind testing, as well as keeping us on track and organized. On a related note, sometime soon, we're going to put Blanton's, the tater-revered bourbon, to the same blind taste test experiment. How will it fare? Well, we couldn't get our hands on any Pappy, but maybe someday. Hey, we love to science the crap out of our whiskey enjoyment. So for now, this is Douglas Dunbar, the Whiskey Wizard, for the Whiskey Roundtable. Cheers, Slàinte, and now, back to the live show.
Okay.
Well, there you have it. So Johnnie Walker Blue came in third in a field of 4 against some single malts that you'll all find in your local liquor store at a fraction of the cost. So
everyone's going to be out buying Dalwhinnie 15 tomorrow.
Dalwhinnie 15, I'm going to say you can't beat it for the price. Let's just say that. So.
Awesome.
And the Aberlour 12, of course, both Greg and Joe picked it as their favorite. It's a very close second. So that's another good one you'll find in any of your liquor stores, and you ought to give it a good try. So we are at our time limit. So again, we want to thank you all for watching. If you're here with us live, and if you can't make the show live, remember to always please still watch it, because it's all those views that keep us able to make this thing happen. So we'll be back next on Friday, August the 26th at our usual time, and we'll finish up with Scottish Whiskey Month. And I think next week we have the, what do we have? What do we just...
oh, you're bringing your it's right here. I wrote it down. Hold on. Stand by. Please stand by.
Glenfarclas 12.
That
Gosh
one.
darn.
The Glenfart is... Yes.
Glenfarclas 12. Yes.
Glenfarted.
Okay.
Amen.
And we'll finish off Scottish Whiskey Month. And tonight's closing quote comes from Robin Scherbatsky, who's a character from the show sitcom How I Met Your Mother. And she said, I love a scotch that's old enough to order its own scotch. So there you go.
All right. So, hey, Cleveland Whiskey?
Yes.
So, Cleveland Whiskey, I'm sorry, guys. Cleveland Whiskey they have a lot of new products out, and they're going to do this show. We're talking about Canadian whiskeys in September. We'll talk with him at that point, and see what we can do. And then October. So Cleveland Whiskey, we're talking about in October, if you will.
Okay.
All right. So good guy. Can't wait. We've had their products that he gave me, and weeded and all that other stuff. Good stuff. And I would love him to sit in on the show and
nice.
do our thing.
Okay.
Didn't you say you're doing a Canadian whiskey VO? in September?
Yes, if I get the product, why everybody's in Canada.
Kentucky,
All right,
Canada.
so we're hoping that it all pulls in. So anyway, but at the end of the day, so anything else?
No,
I think we're good. We're
that's
way
all we
past our
got.
time.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And
All right,
Yeah,
kids.
good to see
thanks
you,
to everybody
Jimmy.
out there for joining us. This is the Whiskey Roundtable.
We are your hosts, Big G.
Karen Helen Keller.
Doug Dunbar.
Jimmy Falb and
All
his
right,
Sprite.
kids. All right,
We'll see you next time.
All right.
I'll see you next week, everybody.
all right. Talk to you next week, man. Bye bye.
If whiskey stopped working, every bar in town would be closing their doors, shutting down. Everybody would be trapped with their thoughts, 'cause nothing numbs the pain like bourbon or scotch. Oh no, oh no, no. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably wasting lots of money trying therapy. If whiskey stopped working, what the hell would I do? Honestly, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't be over you. If whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, oh, whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped. Poor Jack D would be out of a job. Jameson and Bean would be cut off. Hank Williams songs wouldn't make any sense. Yeah, this whole damn world would be a mess. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably wasting lots of money trying therapy. If whiskey stopped working, what the hell would I do? Honestly, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't be over you. If whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, oh, whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped, oh. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably halfway out of this town, leaving Tennessee. If whiskey stopped working, what the